going back to like how you're able to find your worth by how much you're able to charge. I think really, like, realistically, like, I think the work kind of speaks for itself, as silly as that is, like, but you have to find a way to portray that. Like, you have to be a personable person. Like, again, like, if you're going to charge the prices that you want to charge, whatever that price may be, you have to be personal. You have to find a way to connect with them, and you have to find a way to present what it is that you're, like, I literally bought an iPad, like an iPad Pro, like one of the big ones, just to showcase what I was like, just any photo, any video, just because I think that has a lot of presence in me. You have to find ways to combat, I guess, that idea of how to build that confidence. And I think how you talk to people is super important, and how you portray yourself. I started off pretty strongly here at the podcast, how we talked about how good people find good people, and good energy finds good energy. So, and I think ultimately, everybody has some form of way that they can connect. I think life is all about experiences, and how you make the most of those experiences is how you connect with people, and how you're able to resonate, and how you're able to build the goals that you have, whether if it's the goals with yourself, or the goals that you share, or just the goals that you and I are just trying to come to, whether if it's just business related, or even if we're best friends, and it's like, hey, like, I think that ultimately humongous aspect of it, being able to take charge in a way that is able to influence the people around you, I think kind of motivates all that happens within that.
I need to get on your level with ads, bro. That's what I need to do. It's just very, very niche with the real estate sector. As a real estate professional, it's like 1.5 million agents across the country. Top 10% does 90% of the business. I want that top 1%. That's 15,000 agents. So we got some testing to do. And I had this guy, Tanner. He's a success coach. He's done $115 million with ClickFunnels. Yeah, and he hit me up, and we were going back and forth and whatnot. But we are live. What's up, yo?
How you doing, man?
We're just chilling.
Are you ever gonna have like incorporate maybe like where there's another space in case there's like a good group of people that you want to like band together?
Yes.
Like, I feel like I have so many beautiful people in my life, and I'm like, wow, we hold so many great conversations.
Yes.
I wish like my friends of friends could take like we take so much from each other.
Yeah.
I want to like have them
So
take as much as.
Let's talk vision real quick. Welcome to the Liftoff Experience. It's not a podcast. It's an experience like none other. We got Rob on, and this gentleman over here came behind the scenes with Malik, and now full circle, here we are. And it was funny because Malik came in like that next Friday.
Yeah, we came in.
You both came in.
Yeah, we both. I just had to go to the bathroom really bad. And
You're good. Hey, Su Casa, B Casa, how does that go? You're always welcome. Don't even worry about it. It's good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't know. As soon as I feel like if anyone knows me, like, as soon as we connect, that's it.
I agree.
It's just all right, cool. We're friends.
I agree.
But we're going to do some work together. So stay tuned for that. We got the Health Net coming in. Stay tuned for that, Troy Casey. So
that's exciting.
We got to get some work done on that. So we're gonna have to got to hire the man. But all right, we're gonna envision real quick. So last guest said these buttons, like, welcome, bro, welcome.
Wow.
We need these buttons over there. You know what I'm saying? So when it gets intense, where's the intense one? No, that's not that one. Where is it? Here you go.
You can hear it.
It's getting intense. So I'm thinking these buttons over there get like a little button stand, right?
I agree.
I need to get a camera in the corner, right? And so like if Malik or anyone's behind there, then they could like, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe like I could tap you in real quick on that mic, and then you could just be like, say a couple things, you know? So that's what I was thinking. Because right now I can go in.
Maybe like a third party moderator.
Yeah. So right now I could do this and be like, hey, where's Malik? Hey, what's up, bro? They can see you over here. You see you? You know what I'm saying? Like something like that. So they can see and we're showing them the whole studio and whatnot.
Right.
But
no, that's good.
So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we do something like that so we can have some fun and be able to, and then like you said, we need to have a couple more spaces. At least two over there.
I feel like once you have something good, and then I think with like the mindset that we shared, like how can we still do better? You know, I feel like there's always kind of like consistent room for opportunity.
So you're saying the next show is going to be you, Malik, and all three of us.
I think that'd be a cool show. honestly.
Okay. So stay tuned for that. We hit the like button and comment below if you think that's something that you want to have happen. And I like that. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it. I just
agree.
pick up another chair, pick up another mic, another stand. We're good. I want to do probably like a couch type situation over there. Something a little bit more like kind of couchy vibe.
I think a couch would do really good for, because then it would be like us talking to the people. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I was talking about how, like, with one of my friends, we are talking about like first dates, and like, where do you sit on the first date? Do you sit like across from somebody, or do you sit like right next to somebody? Because I was thinking about how when you sit across from somebody, like, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
like, that's how usually where I sit with my friends, but like also like when we hang out, we
Yeah.
also don't really talk. We're just like like catching up on our phone or doing the stuff that we have to do.
Yeah.
But then when you're like getting to know somebody, especially if it's someone new, like this is nice because
Mm.
we're at that 45-degree angle. But like if it was
Mm-hmm.
just like us over a table talking, that's too interviewy.
I don't like that.
But then like this is very companion. Like we are at this restaurant together.
Yeah.
We are eating and trying this place out for the first time. So.
I like it. And I think that too, like, for people out there, do you agree body language, right? And so like when someone goes like this or like, and you're talking to them, it's like they kind of seem like turned off, like they don't really, they're not open. But like when you're open, and I get like, I want to give you a hug.
That's why this 45-degree is nice because it's that perfect in between.
That's what I was thinking too. Because a lot of people do that. I see the iced coffee hour, you see the Joe Rogan Experience, and I'm just like, and the goal with this is like I want to make it a community thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I want this to turn into more where like eventually I want to do this warehouse collective. I don't know if I ever told both of you guys this before, but I want to do a warehouse collective where imagine you got car storage, you got a podcast section. You got a section for like, say, like you want to do headshots or like video content room. I want some Liftoff agent offices in there. My wife wants her tea corner in there. We can have like maybe even like a therapy section, cold plunge, red light therapy, a babysitter spot for like single moms that are entrepreneurs. You know what I'm saying? So like something like that would be super sick, bro. And if you had like the Liftoff experience, next thing you know, it's just like, I don't need to be like the host or, you know what I'm saying? It's just be like, oh, next thing you know, boom. You just bring someone onto this show randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like, where'd Mr. Liftoff go? I don't know.
But we're going to have the experience nonetheless.
Nonetheless, the experience is happening. Now it's Rob's experience.
I like that.
I don't know.
That kind of gives me like Rob Dyrdek vibes.
Yes.
Like the Fantasy Factory.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm saying. Just something fun.
Exactly. It's just like an accumulation of just community.
Yes.
And everybody brings their own little bit, kind of how you explain. Like your wife has her own little bit. You have your little bit. People that you bring, I'm sure, will sprinkle in little ideas here and there. So.
We give Malik a corner too. It's good.
A sliver at the corner.
You know what I'm saying? He can have his hats on display and everything, bro. No, this Saturday, actually, speaking about community, we're going to be doing a shout out to the, where are we at? Circle G community, and we're doing like a little like meet the neighbors on Saturday. So we're bringing the neighbors over. We're gonna meet everyone, say hi, howdy, how you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm always out there tinkering on cars and stuff, and people come by and they're like waving and stuff. But it's like, I don't know. God forbid, knock on wood, nothing's gonna happen. But hey, shit went down. You might want to know your neighbors, right?
I agree.
You're locked in your house, and you're like, shit, I got no water. I never met my neighbor before. Let's go knock on the door when there's no power. Power goes out. What are you gonna do? I don't know.
You're a very like personable person, so usually I feel like it's always nice to meet the neighbors and kind of get a good grounding between them and kind of understand just who you're with and who you're sharing the space with. And then you know what? Sometimes like the best relationships happen unexpectedly, so you never know really what's going to come towards you.
Oh, 100%, man, 100%. So take us back, bro. Let's go in the future, man. Let's go in the future where you're in high school, you're doing your thing. Like, did you ever like manifest the thought process of like, oh, one day I want to do video and productions and photography and all the things that you do now? Or like, how did you even like take us through a little bit of the journey, experience of how you got where you're at?
I think growing up, I think a big inspiring, motivating factor was I always like a big advocate for like people that like vlogged.
Ooh,
I was like, oh, you know what? Like it's cool just because it's they get to share their life and not only share their life, but usually the people that do vlog are usually bettering their life in some form of way. So I was able to like kind of take a little bit of snippets from here and there from whoever and however implement that in my life. And then I think as I got older, I kind of always wanted a camera, and then when COVID first, broke out and we all went into quarantine. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really know what I mean, like everybody didn't know what to
Yeah.
do when we first out. I was like,
Like,
okay,
what
is
is
this
going on?
real? Yeah. How
Yeah.
long is this gonna so I went to Best Buy and I bought my first camera. It was like 750. That to me at the time was like such a big like
Oh my
investment.
God.
And I was like, okay, my first camera, like just like whatever,
Yeah.
Um, and then, long story short, I just think it's fun to share the moments with the people, with, I guess, your loved ones.
Yes.
Everybody has goals, accomplishments, products, services, something that they're able to capture. And even as silly as it is, like, even just going on vacation and or experiencing like a trip with
Mm-hmm.
your friends, your family, and being able to like capture that moment, I think is super duper rewarding. Like,
Yeah.
I know I love to take like group photos with my friends whenever we go to stuff like that. And like I know he clowns on me all the time for he's like you and your photos. I'm like, dude, like one day like this is gonna be so cool. Like I want to look
Yeah.
back and like look at all this like we accomplished in like a span of 3 months. So.
You know what's crazy these days is like printed photos. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? Like, how often do you see like a printed photo? Like out there, anyone who's listening to the internet, like my wife went down because like she's doing like this 1 to 5 year for my daughter and like wanted to have like the pictures in the book and
Right.
memories. And so it's interesting when you see them in your hand because everything's so digital now. It's not like the physical stuff. And then the funny moment for me was I was just like, are you kidding me right now? My wife goes and she tries to do this. She tries to zoom in on a fucking
Like physical
on a
photo.
physical photo, bro. Like, honey, that doesn't work that way.
It's kind of like a Polaroid, I think, but it's
Yeah.
it's actually really cool when it's like printed through like one of those like humongous like Canon printers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Where
Yeah.
it's like wow, like it actually kind of shows. And
Agreed.
but no, I agree though. Honestly, printed photos are
Mm-hmm.
so cool. I mean, I have like Polaroids of like us in our cars, and
Really?
right where my visor is.
Okay,
I
okay.
pocket. So
I like that, bro. I like that. It's getting me excited to think about because we're talking about this whole like the warehouse collective. Be
right,
cool to like have people come in, you take a picture, in whatever experience you're having, and you know what I'm saying? Just have
exactly.
like a cool wall of just like all the people and the different experiences and whatever they're doing in the spot, like checking out a cool car or whatever. Like I like that. That's cool.
I agree.
That's a cool concept, man. It's a cool concept. And I think it's cool too because you can always go back. Like I remember I was filming my life and put it on YouTube. And as far as like a proposal to my wife and then my daughter being born, a bunch of different things. And it was like 3.5 years. I would go Monday through Friday and put it out on Sundays. But to go back and be like, holy shit, like go back in time and just like, your mindset and like what your thought process was during that time and what you accomplished to like where you're at today. Like I was washing the GTR today, just at the power washer doing my thing because just being conscious of extra money going out. And so I was like, I'm gonna just do it myself, and it brought me back to like, you know what, like being with your car and having that moment is special.
I agree. I think to kind of piggyback off that idea, I also similarly did the same thing. I would just vlog
Really?
my life, and obviously, like when everyone's like going through like whatever uh, lifestyle they have, whether if it's like school, work, or just a part of like whatever they're involved with. One of the biggest things that I kind of noticed was how I feel like I was very proud of the people that I had in my life, the
Yeah.
proud of the lifestyle that I was able to accomplish. So I kind of wanted to showcase that to the world, but also at the same time, like now I look back and it's like these videos are like 2, 3, even like just a year old, and you can see how different every year of my life was up
I
until
love
that
that.
point. So it's kind of like as it's nice to like reminisce on that, it's also as cool as it is to then build forward and say, okay, like last year of my life to then this year, I has been like 11 out of 10 and I couldn't have experienced any better. So I'm excited to see where the future goes from every year on out.
Let's
So.
go. That's a liftoff moment, bro. If you're just tuning in, like we have liftoff moments where it's like personally, professionally, spiritually, and like that was like I think a personal liftoff moment for you. But I like
Mhm.
that because the end of the day, I think that people forget to encapsulate the moment. And I mean, I get it. Like be present, put your phone down. Like you don't need to be on your phone. This that, and other thing. And I feel like in contrast to depending on the moment and the time, it's cool to be able to capture. Like for me, one thing I like to do, and we might have to go on a journey together for this, bro.
Mhm.
So I'm about to hire you.
I think and this is like the next point where we are actually going to go on we're going to Texas.
Oh, let's go.
So
Let's go. Okay.
so not
And then you filming him, right? And going through that whole journey
exactly.
is a
And
cool thing to look back on.
it's a cool thing to look back on, and I think even we even touched on it on his podcast where we went to California as a friend group. We all knew each other for like 3 months, maybe max. Like it was not crazy.
Yeah.
Like I went over to his place for the first time ever. we booked the tickets, and then we just happened to just all rock with each other. But having those moments and being able to, again, going back to the whole like
Mm-hmm.
capturing the moment, it's nice to not only be able to capture the moment and the lifestyle that you have, but
Yeah,
also
yeah,
showcase it to the world, just to show like,
yeah.
sometimes you don't know. I think it's like one of those like silent lover kind of situations where like you don't know, some people still think about the
Yes,
time where you told them like, hey, or they like remember a song and they remember that you told them about it, or like,
yes.
they wear that shirt because you told them that you liked it that day, or just something like that, where you don't really know how that photo or that footage or that vlog or whatever it is, you insert the blank,
Yes,
how it
and it,
might
it
affect the world
inspires
around you.
people. It can inspire
Hmm.
someone to whatever it is. Like, oh, you know what? I want to go to Texas. I
Exactly.
want to vlog what I'm doing. Oh, that restaurant, dude. I really got to check out that restaurant. It looked delicious.
Agree.
Like I think that that's amazing. And what I was gonna say before you went into I'm looking out for the video near you as far as the Texas video. But bringing you May with me one time because I like to go to like these real estate events. So
Yeah.
shout out Liftoff Agent sponsors the Liftoff Experience. Shout out Rain. He's the guy behind the scenes doing all the editing, and um, and I think that it's cool to like just. And there's also something to be said too, like for anyone out there that are small business owners or want to get content, and potentially you're in the Maricopa County area and you want to hire someone, this gentleman's for hire. It's like there's a different level of awareness, and also I feel like it levels up the brand awareness as well, like the identity. So when someone walks into an event, which I like to do, and they have a camera, then it's just like, who's this guy with the camera guy?
No, there's immediate like
Like,
shock
right, like
right away.
immediate.
Yeah, no, like we'll walk into like with, I don't know, it could be like Panda Express, and people are like almost like, and they start to looking around like what's about to happen, like why is this guy walking like walking with
Yes.
this guy with the camera behind him.
I remember the video you guys did. You guys were probably what, like Los Angeles or something, and you guys had the kids and you were doing the revs.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
you get out and start filming,
yeah.
and he's showing that, and it's just there's a different perception with that whole reality. And that's the thing I think it's kind of interesting that people can utilize video and photos and what have you, not to make something that it's not, because there is people out there that do that. They show a facade and it might not be exactly what is being shown.
Sure.
And to add to that, I think that there's something to be said about doing that to then elevate like your awareness. There's something to be said about being proactive, because then like if you're proactive and you put out the video content and you're thinking about, it's almost like a premeditation. Like we're gonna go on this trip, we're gonna film this trip, we're gonna go through this process, and then it's like turns into something different, because then there's the brand, right? There's the brand that Malik has and you guys have with the hats and what you're doing and the apparel that then ties into the, and then you see it all the time on YouTube anyways. All these
Exactly.
YouTubers have the, buy my merch.
Exactly. And I think it goes from kind of how you were talking about like a form of intention a little bit almost. It kind of goes from like, at least for me, I enjoy posting on social media on multiple platforms. So it's
Me
like,
too.
I think this year it was kind of a shift. Okay, how can I do what I already do, you know, or have already done in the past? Now,
Yeah.
how can I have some form of intention to then either build a community or elevate some people or something
Yeah.
or somehow?
I love that, man. I love that. I mean, most recently, got to give this man a follow. You've been doing a lot of lifestyle. Like I saw the one with just going to the gym. Like, all right, we're gonna go to the gym,
Yeah.
and like you're just going to the gym and just doing your thing, which is super cool. And I think that it could just inspire one person to like, hey, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna go work out. Like,
I
and
agree. And if it inspires one person, all it takes is that one person's then gonna be like, that one person's inspired. They
yep,
want to bring their friend. Now that
yep.
friend is getting, that's that's how it builds a little bit, and that's how you build.
Amen.
I think elevate the world around you.
Amen. Let's go. Lift off. Let's go. Elevate this world around us. So have you guys been consistent with going to the gym most recently? Like, or is that was just like that one time, or how are you guys doing on that?
Uh, we go all consistently.
Okay.
Whether
Okay.
if it's together, we just kind of see whose schedule kind of aligns.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Sometimes it'll just be two out of the three or whatever the
Mm-hmm.
case may be. But for the most part, I think even with our weekly hangouts, we hang out, at least we make it a point to make to hang out every Thursday night. So even if we could change that into like a gym night,
I like
because
that.
it's we all met through our cars, so obviously we're all car guys, but
Yeah.
we just happen to be cooler than our cars. So.
Hey, behind the scenes clip. Let's go ahead and roll that rain real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So they're rolling up to the house with the Supras. No, I like that, and it's you know what's funny. This is hella cheesy, but thinking about like you guys meet up every Thursday, it's like date night and shit. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
that's exactly what it
it's
is.
like my wife and I we like plan a day a week, right, to go out like date night. So it's like the same type shit. Like
No, it's funny because we'll have Max not here to defend himself, but sometimes he'll be doing something else on Thursday, and it's like we almost like, bro, it's Thursday night. What do you mean you got something going on? Like, we're like,
yeah, like you like not part of it or what?
yeah, no, exactly. So
That's what's up. No, and I gotta say too, like I appreciate the hustle because I could tell that you guys are all boys and help each other, and it's just like all love because like you're coming in. I mean, you just talked about like if you haven't seen Malik's episode, like links down below, you gotta
great
go check it out.
episode.
Great episode, just vibing out.
Mhm.
800 orders this month, so shout out to him on that. And then the fact that the boy over here is about to say like after the show we're gonna go fulfill orders and get it done, and there's something to be said about like even when you guys came in, it's just like, hey Malik, where you at for the month, and you tell me where he's at. All right, this is where I'm at. What I want to finish at, I want to finish 75,000. He was talking about 50,000, so it's like cool to also be around people. That's why we're here speaking some truth to you. You know what I'm saying? Get in the right rooms, the right people, because then you just, I don't know, it just feels like you just raise your vibe. Like if your vibration raises, like your awareness raises, like you just
Exactly.
feel more inspired to be like, all right, where are we at? Like, what's the next thing? What are we going to hit?
No, I agree.
I love that.
The whole frame of mind is just completely different in terms of like how you communicate and how you really just react with the people that you care about, whether that's family or
Yes.
friends, and even the friends that have turned into family. It's motivating, exactly like you said.
It is, man, looking out for everyone. So for someone out there that wants to kind of want to go into a segment about like you are full time with doing what you're doing now, right? With
Yeah.
the video photography, you got a studio at the house, doing some headshots and doing some lifestyle photography and what have you. Going full time and like putting everything into that, like take us through kind of like the mental shift you needed to go through to be like, I'm going for it. Like I don't have any doubt in my mind that this is not going to work. Will work. How did that kind of roll through your head, and how did you get to that point of like, all right, let's do this?
I think it's kind of an entrepreneurial mindset that really meeting people like Malik has inspired me in that way. I think,
Okay.
and I've always been a person that has been very hardworking or always been like uplifting in some form of way, but I
Yeah.
feel like I never really captured how to fully embrace that. I kind of registered that I could. How do I explain it? I feel like I have built this personality that is able to like elevate the people around me, and I kind of wanted to find a way that I
Love
could
that.
do that on a bigger scale and make a
Let's
bigger
go.
impact.
Let's
And I
go.
think even like touching back to what even really got me into cameras is I was never really creative enough to like doing hats. Like it's such a niche thing, and
Yeah.
it's so silly because he makes it look easy, but to me, like I would never do that because I couldn't do that.
Mm.
And I was never really creative in aspects that I wish that I was. Like even like playing like as silly as it is, like I could never play an instrument. Like I tried to learn, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But what I did realize is people are creative, people have accomplishments, or people have products or services that they're willing to pay for. And at the end of the day, like I think life is all about experience.
Yes.
And even if we go on a trip or
Let's do it.
we go on a trip or we do whatever it is that we do regarding around whatever, like you fill in the blank, right? There's always something to take from it, and no opportunity will ever, repeat itself. So every single one has an opportunity to be better than the last. So I think kind of being able to build off that with every single person, it's fulfilling because then you kind of get to build that community of people that you really enjoy. And you really, kind of you just put it in your blender. It's like a little speck of salt that you learn from everybody. So it's kind of inspiring, and I think for me, it motivates you to build the lifestyle that you want to build. Whether it's business related, or you know what, I like how this guy handles himself, or I want to think more like him, or I want to surround. It's just stuff like that. Like I want to experience the world. So
Life by design, man. Liftoff moment right there. I think,
by design,
dude, what really stuck out for me was the fact that you're like, there, the circle. We just talked about that, not too long ago in the show. Like the circle, the people that you're around inspire you to then do more. And it was funny. Like this is just a super side note. I was like at the gym this morning, and this dude comes up to me, and like I've been doing the cold plunge at the gym, and So I've been doing it. Like I've been talking to this dude. He's kind of like a guy who's like,
I love the cold plunge.
dude,
Yeah.
did you know they say like if you do a cold plunge, it's like doing a line of coke?
That's crazy.
It's crazy, bro. I'm not saying that I do coke. Okay, I did not say that, but I'm just saying like that's what they say. But yeah, you just have the endorphin release and just everything else. And so this dude, he's always kind
I
of
do
like,
like that though. Yeah.
dude, it's dope. Shout out EOS. They're starting to do the cold plunge now. They're like incorporating that shit. So I've been consistent for like 2-3 weeks now. And this dude, he's just like, oh, the cold plunge's not working today. And he always has something to kind of say. And he's like a good dude, whatever. And then like, yesterday morning, I was like, you gonna go do the cold plunge? He's like, oh, I don't have time today. I gotta go. I'm like, yeah, we know. I know how it goes. Like you get busy, you just won't do it. So he had to make a point today to like, hey, dude, last night I did the cold plunge, dude. I did it. I'm like, right on, bro. And then he's like, oh, but there was a girl there and she was in there for like 15 minutes. So I had to stay as long as she did because I didn't want to look like freaking this weak dude. And I'm not going to use his exact language because I don't know. But I was like, dude, you're hella funny, dude. Like, let her do her time. You do your time. At least you made it. But like we said, like it's all about who you're around that helps inspire you to like do more, with that process. So
That's a long time in the cold plunge though. 15 minutes.
15 minutes. It says max 10 on the thing.
Yeah,
like
no,
you don't
it's like-
need 15.
But you know what though? Like some girls really, I can like learn to be inspired from because they really do the Stairmaster for like an hour, and that is like, oh my god, I don't know
Oh.
if you guys have tried to do the Stairmaster for an hour. That is
No.
ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like 20 minutes, I'm like, oh my god. Like,
I'm right there with you, bro. I'm like, I'm good. I'll do the
Yeah.
Stairmaster real quick because it does get you sweating quick.
oh, super!
It's
It's
just
a
a
great warm
faster
up.
way, yeah, than doing like the cardio. Cardio's all right. My wife loves the cardio. As far as just like treadmill, I'm all right with it. But I like to do like I do the V shreds, and he talks about you just do like a 30-second sprint and a 10-second like walk, and a 30-second sprint and a 10-minute walk, and you could do 15 intervals, and it's like you doing 30 to 45 minutes of cardio. Like that's the type of shit that I like. I want to hack it. Like how do I cut off that 30 minutes to just get a 15-minute interval, 15-minute cardio session and get like 45 minutes worth of value?
Exactly.
I don't know.
No, I agree. Yeah,
That's what I'm
definitely.
about.
I think like the treadmill for me, like I played soccer growing up, all the way through like high school and even like a little bit through like college as well. But running for me, like I'm just like runned out. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I could truly run forever, but like it's just kind of like one of those moments. Like all right, I've done it for so long in my
Yeah.
life. Like it's just like whatever.
I'm runned out. I can't do that.
I need to like interact the blood a little bit differently than it's just on a
Yeah, for
treadmill.
sure. You know what I found out this week?
Mm.
An hour of the gym or working out or running or anything gives you 3 hours of life back. Now, I don't know if that's 100% like there was just like scientific, like this old dude, he was on Instagram and I was watching this shit and he's just like, yeah, an hour working out gives you 3 hours back. I'm like, okay. Like I won't argue that,
Yeah, I don't think I could argue that either.
I'll do an hour. I already do an hour. So that's cool. Like every day I'm getting 3 hours. So 120. I don't know. We'll see.
No, that's actually really good to think about.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys tell us below, comment. You think that's something that's possible?
Has to
Maybe,
be,
maybe
right?
not. Yeah. Has to be. I don't know. So now you're inspired to doing the video thing, right? You're going on these trips, which is dope. So how does it work when you start thinking about scaling this business and you start thinking about the process of like, okay, so cool. Malik has hats. He has the standard operating procedures. We call those SOPs. Then you have your key performance indicators, KPIs, right? To focus on where's that income producing. So how do you get from A to B to A, B to C from the perspective of scaling your company? And like, have you thought about and premeditated on what does it look like in the future?
I think that's a good point to bring up, just because I always thought about that, kind of growing into it. I always did it as kind of, because again, going back, like this kind of began like 2019, maybe
Okay.
2020.
Yeah.
And through that time, I learned a lot, and I was able to pick up a lot of different ideas, a lot of different opportunities from various rounds of people.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was always surrounded by like an athletic background, so it's easy to do it with athletes because I mean athletes love their photos, whether if it's like action photos or if it's like media day photos or really whatever the case may be. So I think realistically, like I was talking to him, how I am looking in a position where I can secure clients, ideas, people that maybe are a little more regular than just like the one-off, like, okay, I can do a wedding here, a wedding there. Like,
Yeah.
those are great. Those are fun. But I think it's always fun, or at least for me in this moment in life, I am really enjoying building the relationships like this, where I'm learning more than just how to use a camera. Obviously,
I love it.
that's already like the prerequisites of the job, right?
Yeah.
And even going into that, like most of the camera jobs I feel like I have secured now, ironically, I don't even talk about the camera.
Wow.
Like I think the gimbal or the camera or like, something that's usually like the size of my head kind of sets the tone enough. And it's really just securing the job just because good people find good people. And I think
I love
when you
that.
can have a great conversation, it's all about like, you know what, like I can see myself working with this person because I like the way they think or I like how
Yeah.
motivating they are to be around, or, you fill in the blank with whatever positive
Mm.
term. I think ultimately, I think trying to go back to how to scale that, I would love to find a way where I can build like a returning clientele where
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
almost kind of, if we're working weekly or if we're working for, obviously every product, every service, every idea is different. You only
Yeah,
get
yeah.
married once. That's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
goal. So
Yeah, yeah. I love that.
but I think having specific days maybe articulated for specific people or specific
Mm-hmm.
ideas, and then having other days where it's like, it's like some months of the year, like graduation
Mm.
happens the same time of the year.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like usually I get a lot of graduations, and that sometimes it's just
Mm.
unfortunately just takes up my weekends, because when
Yeah,
are
yeah,
people
yeah.
free? It's the weekends. And when do
Yeah.
people want grad photos? Outside when it's like golden hour. So
I love that.
I think to answer your question, just kind of building more returning clientele.
I love that. I gotta say, we had a liftoff moment there. I don't know if you caught it, but what I'm starting to see is that like traditional corporate models with the SOPs, KPIs, and what have you, they're cool. There's a place for them, but sometimes it can be like kind of stuffy. You know what I'm saying? And I like the ideology, the concept that you were just like, good people do business with good people.
Right.
And after like Malik came on, I met you right behind the scenes, so you all know what's going on. We had a conversation about, hey, like I have the health nut coming in, I want to do skits, and so we had a conversation, and it was just like organic kind of flow to the
Mhm.
point of like, hey, let's do business, let's do work. And I love that concept because I feel like when you're in a state of flow, right, like an NBA player, right? Like an artist, they're not thinking about when they're gonna do the 3 point. They're not thinking about what they're gonna say or how they're gonna sing. It just flows. And like we just took my wife out to shout out Reds. She just got done with a 3-day fast, so I took her out to lunch. And we had this like sushi place, and we just got back.
Okay.
And my wife was like talking because we had like this community like event on Saturday.
Mm.
And then the lady next to me, she's like talking about matcha and tea and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, honey, she's talking about tea. She's talking about tea. And she's
Yeah.
not someone that would like, so like it was kind of just this flow. And I'm like,
Exactly.
I feel like there's a vibrational thing that happens when you are in the state of flow vibrationally, right? You're sitting here with me. Next thing you know, I already want to talk about another opportunity, which we'll do that on air. Malik's behind the scenes. He's selling his stuff. His orders coming in. It's just flowing. You're listening to this right now. You're probably driving somewhere, whatever. So next thing you know, she like gives the card to the lady. The other lady was just like, oh my God, like I love tea. And so it was just cool. But I like how I'm starting to see this could become more of a thing as far as like what's next for like entrepreneurs, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And how things can just be organic. It doesn't always have to be so,
I
you know?
think I think a lot of people lack that organic factor. I think
Yes.
that's crucial in any workplace. It doesn't matter if it's fast food, if it's food at all. It could be like literally any
Anything.
workplace. I think I've learned throughout the years and through I've grown is the connections that you build with the people that you have around you are super crucial. Just because you
Amen.
literally never know what the future holds, and then when you think that you do know, that's when like life will really throw you something that might humble you, or just it
Yup.
might it might just change your perspective. And I think that's important. And I think especially if you're in a position like how I am with the things that I do, obviously I don't have the best camera equipment. I don't have like 10,000 to go spend on a
Yeah,
camera
yeah.
body and then another 10,000 for a camera lens or just whatever. But
Which is good.
I think what I do have is the ability to talk to people
Yeah.
and convey and accomplish the ideas that they want to be accomplished. So
Yeah. And I also like to, I think there's something to be said about like anyone out there who wants to start a business or has your own business, or even if you work for someone else, but there's some flexibility.
mhm.
I like how you talked about like setting intentions for different days for different things. Like you have guys date night on Thursday, you know what I'm saying? But no,
Yeah,
then you have like the different things for the different type of customers. And you're like, hey, I can have like this for this type of customer, this for that type of customer on these specific days to segment them out. So then that way you have contrast. And it's not always just the same.
exactly. And some people just really can't handle. I mean, some people love the same, but I can't.
I can't, dude.
Yeah, like at some point I'm like same, and I'm like beating my head on the desk. It's like, yeah, it's same, same.
I'm done with this same. I mean, I get
Exactly.
it. Like, if you work a 9 to 5 out there ain't no hate. It's just, I'm sure every day's a little different for you, but it's just the commuting and the traffic and then the work and then the same type of repetitive type work. I was talking to some dude about taxes in the state of Arizona. They have this TPT.
Hmm.
And so like you have to have a TPT if you like sell like product service. Like we have Airbnb, so we have to have it. My wife has a tea company, she has to have it. I don't know if Malik has it, but I'm pretty sure he probably has to have it too. And it's just such a pain in the ass. And then you have to go in and do all this stuff. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, God bless. I'm on the phone with the dude. I'm like, God bless you, bro. Like, you got to deal with people like me all day. You know what I'm saying? And we all know what's going on with the whole like Doge and like the reform and everything else. I hope they give us 5,000 a piece. You know what I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah.
I hope they do, bro. Like, they're just straight up just taking our money and buying like fucking condoms and shit. I don't understand what the hell's going on there. But yeah, dude, I love that. I absolutely love that. So let's have some fun. I want to do something I've never done before.
Oh, that's my favorite. Okay.
We're going to do something and we're going to line out live with you right now on the show what your reoccurring package would look like. Let's just manifest one package reoccurring. Let's talk client type, what that looks like, what day of the week or days of the week you want to do it with them, and like what type of package would it even look like. So maybe, just maybe from the show, if we premeditate this, talking about vibration here, one person might hear this and be like, oh my God, I'm that person.
Hmm.
Rob's my vibe. And then you get a DM and the person's gonna be like, I saw you on the Liftoff Experience. I love what you put together. Let's work.
I think one of what I've enjoyed recently is kind of capturing the moments of what people not necessarily do. So, for an example, everybody has their own business or their own line of ideas.
Yeah.
And for an example, like how Malik and I are going to Texas is
Mm.
it's for hat related specific. I think we're just trying to combat how can we um, make him stand out from the rest of the hat brand owners, or how can we make, because I think going back to that podcast we talked about how people love who he is, so how can we portray that in a way that they want to buy a hat because, oh yeah, it's a nice hat, but no, because it's a hat that's nice produced by Malik. That makes sense. And
Mm.
in kind of a similar sense to us, where if we do take that trip of whatever, you fill in the blank for whatever the trip may be, it's just something that shows and sheds a little bit of light, whether if that's credibility to your brand,
Okay.
even just credibility to your own personal brand, just because, at the end of the day, people might just rock with you or with your service or with your product just because you are who you are. At the end of the day, I think kind of going back to like way like at the start where we talked about how I used to watch people that just daily vlogged.
Yeah.
Like the power to presence that those people kind of had
Yeah.
is immense, because they have brand deals, or they have specific, like really at the end of the day, like they might not even care about this energy drink that they're endorsing, but
Mm-hmm.
people love, like they love this person.
Yeah.
So then, oh, okay, like maybe some way that they can bond with them is sharing the same energy drink or something like that. So I think
Interesting.
ultimately I would love to be a part of experiences I get to capture behind the scenes, or something that's a little more meaningful and more, I guess, the moments that just make you think.
Okay. So let's
just
break.
kind of.
All right, we're gonna break this down. So
Mhm.
avatar is gonna be someone who has a product, a service, some type of business. It could be also like someone that bakes, right? Whatever.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be this is kind of in my mind. This is how I'd break it down, and then we'll put some context around this. So
Yeah.
you got once a month behind the scenes. Meet with the boy Rob here. He's gonna get behind the scenes footage, get a video together for you. Then you have maybe every other week, and then you have every week, and it could be like 4 different plans. So you have once a month, and then you have once every other week, and then actually it'd be 3 then. So it'd be like once a week, every other week, or once a month.
Hmm.
And so then you could basically meet for a couple hours or go on a trip. And
Right.
then somehow, some way, put a package together so then on a monthly basis they pay you, and then the business owner person that hires you is excited about once a month, twice a month, 4 times a month. I'm meeting with Rob and we're getting this
Exactly.
behind the scenes footage.
And that's what I've always thought about as well, just because like everybody is always at some point of their life where they're trying to build whatever it is that they're trying to build, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like, for an example, some people do it full time so they
Mm-hmm.
can afford to just have someone around, whereas sometimes, people just are just trying to get things off the ground. They come home from work and are trying to build their idea to a point where sometimes they might only have like the usage of someone like myself for like once a month, just because it comes to a point where it's like, sometimes they just can't build enough because they don't have enough time, or they don't have enough, there's always life, family,
Yeah.
situational things
Yeah.
that get, I don't want to say get in the way, but you'll often have to find yourself balancing multiple things. So
I like that.
sometimes
And sometimes less is more too. Like you don't need to put out.
I agree.
I seen something online where these individuals like met Mr. Beast and said, we put out 100 pieces a day for like 3 months. They hit like 9 billion people or something crazy. And I don't know exactly the construct of like the content and like how and what they put out there, but it was something just super crazy. But like, I like that, right? Just kind of behind the scenes. And I'm almost thinking right now, thinking about ideal client, I'm almost thinking like I could work something out with you once a month for something like that. I like that concept of like once a month. It could be, get together, whatever. I'm just visualizing like a Monday, and then just behind the scenes, like from the morning routine all the way through, starting the day and what that looks like, and catching some footage and having some fun with it. And then
Exactly.
like,
And everyone's situation is so different every single
so
time,
different.
no matter what it is. Like we have mutual friends that are detailers, and
I know one of them hit me up.
That's funny.
I do. I literally, after Malik got on the show, one of the guys hit me up. He's like, "Hey, dude, I do a Malik's car. If you want to get your car done," I said, "You want to be on the podcast?" He's like, "I don't know about that." I'm like, "Well, I'll keep I'll keep you in mind." But yeah.
And that's like a perfect example, because like for him and I, we were actually talking about that as well, how we wanted to kind of make something happen in the future where
Okay.
he can get something where he's able to align all the cars that or at least like, the higher, the eye appealing cars.
Yeah.
And lines them up on one day. He's like, hey, how would you feel if you just travel with us in one day? And all it is like, hey, like my name is so and so, and today we're gonna do this on this car. Where again, it goes back to establishing that credibility,
Yeah.
and that little bit more of awareness of, if I saw a detailer detailing, and there's plenty of detailers obviously out there, like how do you decide who to go? Well, obviously, who does this guy have that he has such high quality production, or such high, like, there's a little bit more investment there, I guess. And especially the return on investment, I think, would be great for them.
Huge.
So.
I think something to think about too for people out there is like, okay, so in light of detailers, so you go out for the day and you do 10 cars, right? Well, that 10 cars, one video, day in the life turns into 10 videos.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
There's like a multitude, especially if you're looking for long form, short form, and you could split the both. I was just talking to one of my friends who wants to get into getting content, and he wants to start doing or he wants to make a cookbook.
Cool.
And he just wants to have like an online presence of he's just known for food. He loves making food. And he was just telling me like he doesn't really know where to start. And I was just trying to tell him like, hey, like honestly, if you want to focus on food and you want to like build this cookbook, like I would like, while you don't just make a cookbook overnight. So like while you're doing this, like try to develop a community of people whilst you do this. Like just start posting every day.
Dope.
Or like just something about food. And even if it's like something as simple, let's say it's just to keep it simple, let's say you want to make spaghetti and meatballs, right? You can make a video, like just vlog the whole day, and then you have a video, and that's like your long form video.
Yeah.
And you have like a little breakdown. Okay, this is what you're getting at the grocery store and why you're getting what you're getting versus why, what makes you get what he's choosing versus not, the other products.
I love that.
From that point, you have another aspect where you can and then you get home, obviously you're making the food, so you showcase why you're making the food. And there's a lot to be done, but I think what really comes with that is experience. Like, unfortunately, you're just gonna have to go through it for a little bit and realize like, oh, you know what? I should have did that, and it's already too late. But again, like it goes back to the whole thing. Every single opportunity, there's a reason to be better the next time.
No, I love that. And food is great too, because it's such a wide demographic of individuals that love food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, exactly.
I think you can get tons of views on YouTube for that.
Exactly. Whether if it's like budget friendly food, date night food, just maybe people just want to expand. People just like cooking.
Yeah. You know what I did? This is hella stupid. But I had Norm's Kitchen. So stupid, but don't even try to look it up. But it was like fucking 5 minutes or less, like quick shit you can make. And I would be different characters and shit, and like the amount of people that watched this stupid thing, and it wasn't like hundreds of millions, it was like thousands, whatever. But like people would come up to me and be like, "Oh yeah, Norm's Kitchen, that was so cool," and blah blah. And I was just like,
No, but like people reside in you for that. And I think
yeah,
that's like the empowering part where it's like it's funny because like to you it's silly,
yeah,
but to them it's like, oh yeah, like I know you from that. And then
yeah,
you have like this like imaginary form of credibility just
yeah.
because that's just how they know you. They don't know any other aspect of you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
No, that's super dope. So, context wise, so like if it was, I don't know, just kind of play, we don't have to get super specific here
Right.
because obviously it's case by case on numbers and like that type of stuff. So,
Right.
call for a quote. No, shameless plug, bro. We have liftoff. Let's go. No, but, so like once a month, like if you were to meet someone to do content once a month and it was like, so basically it's considered like retainer, I guess you could say, right? So, reoccurring contracts,
Mhm.
retainer. And of course, if it's reoccurring, it's cheaper than just, a one-time deal. So you would have like a allotted amount of time once a month, and then you would then charge a certain amount depending on reels, long form, amount of time.
Mhm.
How does it look like for you?
I think in terms of payment, I think that's where I really struggle with. I think transferring all my energy into doing this full time or being able to accomplish these multiple like or multitude of wide array of ideas.
Yeah.
So really that was really the biggest because I've obviously always worked jobs my whole working life that I was paid hourly
Yeah.
or paid
What was your, if you don't mind me asking, what was your highest amount that you were paid hourly?
27 an hour.
Okay.
It was for when I worked for C4 marketing.
So do you feel that now you're worth the same amount, $26 an hour per hour when you're doing your video work, or do you feel like you're worth more?
I think I am definitely worth more, but I think there's a lot of like and that's where I kind of struggled trying to put a number to the value just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like how do I know how long like obviously yeah like we can say we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
spend 3 hours to record this or accomplish this whether if it's photos a wedding
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean videos like again you fill in the blank but really what the biggest struggle was okay now I have to assess and be consistent with how can I be consistent with my editing and like
Mm,
how can I be consistent because I've always done photos so I'm really confident with photos and I think
okay.
video is just where I didn't start out as but then I learned to like really enjoy it and really
Yeah,
love it
yeah.
and really whether if it's short form or long form like again it goes back to just recording the moment
Yeah,
whether if
yeah.
it's for you or if it's for someone else it's important nonetheless
Yeah, for sure.
and I think breaking it down I think it was easier just to break it down per video
Mm-hmm.
because I think the expectations to what we want to accomplish and how we can accomplish that together is much more reasonable to come towards versus let's just plan to hang or let's just plan to do this for 3 hours like I don't want to say nothing ever goes to plan but if it's a really good idea and it's a really great video I think such structure is sometimes not really needed.
I like that.
I think we want to do what we want to do till the job is done not till the day is done.
I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. That's the liftoff moment. And I asked you that for two reasons.
Okay.
One, for someone who's listening and viewing and watching, because I feel that people give themselves a self-worth based off of an hourly rate, right? So
Oh,
like,
a thousand
you know what I'm
percent.
saying?
No,
So
I agree.
so that's where I feel like you're worth more than what you get paid per hour. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you that for right now. And then the second part is that like, and that's so true. Like, you know, you giving yourself time constraint based off of an hourly rate and saying it's going to take you X amount of hours instead of saying like, hey, this is just going to be a base charge. And
Right.
like, this is what like you gave me a base charge and you said this was going to look like, and there's two different pricing. One is for like just getting the editing or just for the footage. One was for footage and editing because behind the scenes, Liftoff Agent does all the editing for the Liftoff Experience and a lot of the
Mm.
content for Liftoff Agent. And so I love how you articulated that.
I think a lot of it comes from from someone that is on the other side of the spectrum where
Yeah.
like okay like why am I paying you this much or where does your value lie like it's easy for me to like come up with those rebuttals because I was in
Yes.
that position as well
Yes.
so I get it and I understand it so then I think I then shifted from trying to explain what we just talked about versus well here let me like underlie where the value lies like in that it
Mm-hmm.
comes through the credibility
Yep.
you having the potential again of splitting up all this content
Yep.
through various short form of video or what obviously
Mm-hmm.
every situation is different so I think you kind of have to it kind of goes back to having the ability to learn how to talk to people
Yeah.
and what you say is not nearly as important as how you say it
Yeah,
for them.
100%. I think the big thing too is when it comes to anyone out there that, and it's like following your passion, right? Like I was watching and been doing a lot of premeditation on Troy Casey, who's going to be on our next Friday. We're recording with him. We're going to finalize some stuff so we can get you in behind the scenes, getting footage with us.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, for him to monetize his passion took him a very long time. And what that means for you all listening and viewing right now, you know, and I think also for you, Rob, is like, you know, like it's so easy to then say, because I don't have the $50,000 red camera,
100%.
or because I don't have so many hours of experience, or because I am better with photos and videos, then we quantify value based off of these key performance indicators that don't mean anything other than the value we give them.
Right.
You know, instead of looking at it as a situation that like, I am the best person for this situation because I'm super passionate. I know I'm going to deliver with excellence and I'm going to go beyond and above. You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree.
And I think that people out there like kick themselves in the foot because they don't understand that like you set the value that you bring to the table. No monetary, no physical object or person or thing can tell you what your value is besides you.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I think ultimately that just comes through experience.
That too.
And experience, and even if you just take a job that is like at least for me, like a great example of this is I did one of my, so when I used to play college soccer, I had a teammate that I really wasn't close with, but you know, we rocked with each other. We were friendly to each other.
Yeah.
And you know, we eventually just moved away from each other's lives. And about like a year and a half later, I did his graduation photos.
Dope. That's cool.
And it was cool. I didn't charge him much because again, this was like something that I was just on the side for me. And then I realized like once you kind of have this credibility of backing, like all it started was with one grad photo session, and then all of a sudden I did his sister's grad photos, I did his baby shower, his gender reveal, and then now I'm so immersed in this family where like
you're the guy.
I'm the designated camera guy, so they give me this big underlying credibility that it's just for at the time it was silly because it's like, oh, like they think so high of me, and then I don't know why it was like building my confidence. And then eventually again, like it's just ultimately it's just through experience. And I think being very transparent is important. So
100%. And I think there's something to be said too for anyone out there who's gonna get into, you know, wanting to go after your passion and then wanting to monetize that, which is getting paid for that passion that you have. You know, like there's some people that take too long or never like raise their value, like as far as raise their pricing. I had this Tanner, he's a performance coach, and so I think ClickFunnels $115 million. He reached out to me and we're going back and forth and seeing if I want a performance coach, and then I sent him the pricing for what we have a Liftoff sponsor the show. And so he's like, oh yeah, like that's, you know, you're definitely not, you know, selling yourself short. I'm like, oh, you know, I appreciate that. So I think that some people out there can sell themselves short really easy, where then, you know, for someone like yourself or whatever you want to do, we could easily look up the other companies, right? Your competitors, see what they're charging, you know, and maybe come a little under until you build that credibility, and then you're good. But also I think it's hard too, when it comes to friends and family, it's like almost like a, well, because it's my friend or family member, right? You want to like give them a deal, but then we forget that like it's our business. And like, if we ever want to go full time, we have bills just like the other person does. Like,
exactly,
we'll give them, of course, a little bit of a break, but like, you can't do it for free.
Yeah, at some point, like, you know, I mean, and that just kind of comes with everything, you know. Sometimes you get people an inch and they take a mile.
Oh my God.
So it's like
100%. Is that you? Stop that shit. No.
No, I guess that is a really good way of framing it, just because I think at some point, you know, going back to like how you're able to find your worth by how much you're able to charge. I think really, like realistically, like I think the work kind of speaks for itself, as silly as that is. Like, but you have to find a way to portray that. Like, you have to be a personable person. Like again, like if you're gonna charge the prices that you want to charge, whatever that price may be, you have to be personal. You have to find a way to connect with them, and you have to find a way to present what it is that you're like. I literally bought an iPad, like an iPad Pro, like one of the big ones, just to showcase what I was like, just any photo, any video, just because I think that has a lot of presence in me. You know, bringing out my phone and just kind of like scrolling for you on the phone, like here, take this like humongous iPad, and again, it just kind of sets the tone a little bit, and like you have to find ways to combat, I guess, that idea of how to build that confidence of um,
I love that.
I guess that I don't really know what the word is for it, but I think, just kind of going back to what I was trying to say, you have to find ways to combat it. And I think how you talk to people is super important and how you portray yourself.
Yeah, 100%. I 100% agree. I love the concept of the iPad phone conversation. No, decline. We had a phone call coming in here. I had to disconnect the iPhone from the freaking MacBook Pro. I don't like that.
I had to do that because I hate all the
Dude.
messages coming through. Like I have an
Yeah.
iPad, I have like two phones that it'll come through. Like I don't need it.
I was about to talk about your iPad, and the next thing you know, I got a phone call coming in on the iPhone. But no, I like that. I like that you have the iPad because, like, what I'll do is I'll bring my tablet, and so if I'm doing a strategy call, I'll have the tablet, and I have the pen and whatever. Mine's is a Samsung, so I'll do all the notes. And then I also like to when I go to networking events because everything we do is digital products. So it's like, okay, let me show you like the websites we build, like the social, the setup, way it looks, so they can see it. Because then I could visually show. I could talk to them. They can imagine it, but showing that to them builds, like you said, the next level of credibility, so they can have no questions.
It
That
sets the tone right away.
Oh my God,
And
for
like
sure.
for any first impression, that is humongously super important.
Yes, yes. I think the way that you carry yourself, the way that you, how much you're premeditated or prepared for the situation, check behind the scenes, driving up in a nicer car, you know what I'm saying? It all helps. Like, okay, this person's obviously well put together. Okay, I see him. And that's one thing I think that, like, even like taking care of yourself, you know what I'm saying? When you're in good shape yourself, they can see that, okay, if this guy is in good shape, he must be disciplined, or he must be eating right, or he must work out, or he must have some type of consistency. So you better take some good pictures. I don't know.
And that's actually like a really good point of putting it. Like consistency and confidence really floods into your life in multiple aspects. Like,
Oh yeah.
once you build it and once you have it, like it also just floods into how you talk to people, how you introduce yourself,
Yeah.
what you're able to accomplish, how your mindset battles the things that you have to overcome.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point that you brought up.
I love that, man. I love that. Thank you for giving me a lift off. I want to get into faith, man. Like, how much do you believe faith has to do with the success, or has to do with like just organically flowing into relationships that then yield opportunities for you to be able to do business and to work with someone?
I think I started off pretty strongly here at the podcast. How we talked about how like kind of how if everything happens for a reason, or like how good people find good people and good energy finds good energy. So and I think ultimately, everybody has some form of way that they can connect. And I think that's really, I think life is all about experiences, and how you make the most of those experiences is how you connect with people and how you're able to resonate and how you're able to build the goals that you have, whether if it's the goals with yourself, or the goals that you share, or just the goals that you and I are just trying to come to, whether if it's just business related, or even if we're best friends and it's like, hey, like, I think that ultimately, I think that is a humongous aspect of it, being able to take charge in a way that is able to influence the people around you. I think kind of motivates all that happens within that.
I love that, man. I love that. It's so true. It's so true. And speaking of opportunities, we talked a little bit about it earlier. And so it's March 19th, Beverly Hills. There's going to be an opportunity for, I don't have any details, but on Tuesday, I'm going to be speaking with Andrew. There's this event for the real estate space, and there's all the proceeds goes back to the fire victims that's going on out there. And so, so it's supposed to be a really good event, and I would like to get on stage. We'll see. And there'll probably be 500 plus people there. And
what's funny is you do strike me as someone that would do great on stage.
You think so?
Like whatever. Like
I appreciate that.
Like like I think it's like one of those things where like maybe you have someone that like has to like perform or like talk, and it's like, oh my God, he's running late. Like we need someone to like fill in these people. These people are waiting for something. Like, okay, let's go throw them out there. Let's go talk about anything.
Just talk about some shit. Okay, just talk about some shit. No, but I appreciate that. I appreciate you, bro. That's awesome. No, that's one thing I want to do, and I'm wanting to get closer to, is being able to get on stage and serve and support, motivational speak. Like, this is just a catalyst of going into a direction that I've kind of like had already premeditated. The Liftoff agent thing pays the bills, the marketing agency, serving in the industry, or scaling that up so I can start to like take a back seat and be able to like focus on more like getting on stages, speaking, sponsoring podcasts, traveling, but yeah, man, I don't know if you want to travel to Beverly Hills and have some fun, but
Dude, I would travel anywhere.
yeah,
Seriously, yeah.
okay,
I literally want to travel the world. I haven't been outside the U.S.
yeah, yeah.
And I think that's definitely one of my goals
Okay.
for the
Well,
next.
2026, no, we're in 2025, 2026, January, February.
Mhm.
We're going to the Philippines, man. So maybe you want to go to the Philippines?
I want to experience the whole world,
The whole
literally the
world.
whole world. Yeah, like I said, life's all about experiences.
All right. Rainith, you might just meet this guy. So no, we go out every year and see the team, which is out there in October.
Right.
Had 30 of us go to Bahal, Philippines to a
Mhm.
really cool like inside outside concept. It was a beach resort, white sandy beaches, beautiful place. And we throw up some pictures right now. Rainith, I'm sure, has content. They did drones and photos and
Oh yeah,
all types
beautiful
of stuff.
photos.
Yeah. And so our team, we already have videographers and stuff like that. But I do feel that like, and I vlogged year one, and then year two, I did vlog year two. It's on the YouTube channel right now for my personal YouTube channel. And honestly, no excuses out there. I use my iPhone. This is just the Pro Max iPhone. And then what I used I used InShot. I went through and used InShot and I edited everything in the InShot app.
I like that.
I did literally like an hour vlog in InShot. Because I was on 333. Um,
Mm.
and I basically did an hour vlog, and because you're on the plane for like 16 hours coming back.
Oh yeah, so
So,
you have time to build.
oh my God, plenty of
Plenty of time.
time.
And
Plenty
that's
of
like
time.
actually one thing to be said is like vlogging is like I think at least for me and I think you kind of share this like passion as well. It's fun to do, but there's something to be said that it's way easier when you don't have to worry about the camera or you don't
Hmm.
have to worry about it's like just like a great moment that's like oh wait hold on like let me turn it on and get the mic up like it's just
Yeah.
when you have somebody that just strictly worries about it, it's so much better.
Yes,
I
it,
feel
it
like.
really is. I think it just makes it so you can be able to enjoy the moment, get a different perspective, and then see the true authentic nature of the
Environment
situation
that
and
you're
environment
capturing.
exactly
Hmm.
instead of vice versa. So it'd be nice to be able to have someone come and be able to film and be able to do all that and be able to edit and
Yeah.
just everyone be natural and then not even like because I want the team to enjoy themselves too. I don't
I
want
get
them
it.
to have to be like, okay, you're on a company retreat and like we do talk about, team building in the next year and whatever, or it'd be that year for that instance. But yeah, okay, cool, cool. So two projects in the works. And that's what I love about, a podcast and what we're doing too, because it's like we're all like the main character of our own movie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree 100%.
And so it's like, with that being said, I love to be able to encompass people into, this experience, bring you in. They get to hear something from you, a different perspective, inspire them to start something on their own. And then I'm very excited to be able to share things. And then for those things to just like be a thought to then materializing. Like we're gonna update the studio now and do something. Like I'm just like, yeah, I'm super excited about that. And we might have to talk about the studio upgrade. I might have to pick your brain, bro. I might have to.
No, I think yeah, no, exactly, and it goes back to like it's fun to see where you have came or
Mm,
where you have grown, and then to see where you're building towards.
yeah.
Because it could, it's. I think that there's something to definitely be said about loving the journey there,
Mm.
or
Amen,
loving
man.
loving the journey thus far.
Amen, dude. And I think that's where video comes in and photos. Like we talked about
Yeah, I agree.
documenting, man. And like you talked about earlier, like if you could have something that you can encapsulate and then you can look back on it and be like, man, I've really grown since then.
Exactly.
And I think the magic is when you could really start to, because we have a lot of agents on the Liftoff agent side that do like YouTube videos and stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
there was one person that started off from basically ground zero, was filming his own content, and then hiring someone like yourself to film the content, edit the content, put the content out there. And it got to a point where like he was doing these lives and he was actually on the Real Estate First Technology. And that's more real estate tech talk on that side for the
Mm-hmm.
podcast. And he's like, yeah, this guy that was just on the live was just like, man, I watched you the whole 5 years you've been doing this and you've really just taken off and congratulations. And I think that's like, it's one thing to like look back on yourself and reflect, but when you can have someone else, you know what I'm saying, give you that like, wow, Rob, like you've done a great job, man. Like from where you are to where you're at now and watch the journey, like, dude, kudos to you, bro.
And I think that's what is important about filming the content like I described earlier is like not only does it establish that credibility, but like truth be told, like some people really do just love latching on to somebody and
Yeah.
being able to like learn from them, or even just in whatever nature. Like some people just really just enjoy uh hopping on like Twitch and just watching people play video games.
Which is crazy. I told my daughter about that because she was like watching these kids. Like, I'm like, why aren't you playing? No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I'm just gonna watch. Like,
No,
you
I
could be making money right now.
exactly. And there's like just the immense amount of consumerism within that is like I think it's one of those things that uh like even now like I have been posting pretty consistently on my TikTok for the past like 2.5 months.
Okay,
And there's people on there that just comment like I don't even know them, but they just comment and like message me all the time, and it's like
that's sick.
we're like online like friendly to each other. We don't even live nearby each other, which is funny, but
Yeah.
it's fun to interact where it's like to them I don't know what it is for them, but obviously I have to be able to entertain or inform them in some way that just
I love that.
that's
I
just what
love
they
that.
love this.
And like attracts like, you know what I mean? People out there. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
like as
definitely.
soon as you start putting yourself out there, like of course you get some haters and people that are like technically just admirers, right? And they're hating on you because they aren't doing what you're doing. And then you have the people that love it and they're like, oh my God, you know, this and that thing. And like that's where I feel like on my content, like I don't have like hundreds of millions of views yet, which I'm also not even like super excited about even that becoming a thing because I feel like when you have smaller numbers, you know for a fact that those are like not that like they're not real people when you have bigger numbers, but like I think bots and other things play into it when you have
Right.
millions of views and then you see
Yeah.
some of the comments and it's like a lot of just like only fan blah 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 bullshit just crap. And
Yeah.
so when you can just like go deeper with someone and they send you that DM and you send them that message and you're like friends with them, but you're doing something to add value and they see that shit, it's freaking cool, dude.
But even them interacting with you adds value for yourself or
Mm-hmm.
some form of fulfillment. Like the other day, the first time this has ever happened, I was on my way home and some guy recognized me through my car and who I was
Dope,
through
dude.
just driving on like the road. He's
Yeah.
like, "Wait, are you Rob?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm like, "Where have I?" I'm like, I could not like register where I know him, but I feel like I've seen him somewhere. And then he's like, "Yeah, I follow you on TikTok." I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe we probably interacted a few times there." But
That's what's up.
it's just like one of those things like, oh, like it's just a shocking like, okay, I guess I didn't know I was able to get recognized like that. But yeah, it's cool.
Dude, I
And again,
love
it's
that.
very fulfilling. So
Isn't that crazy too? You're like, yeah,
yeah, I
do
am
we,
Rob.
you know, when do we meet or, you know, and
Yeah.
it's just like, and it's like that. It's like, I talk about this, the fan celebrity relationship. It's like now
Mm,
you're turning into a celebrity. They're your fan. They idolize or they like you or they feel that they know you. And then it's almost like you don't know them. So you almost like feel like you should know them,
no, I get it.
you know, but then you have watchers and players, you know?
You have watchers and players, and you know one thing that I love to like break is like the norm of that, like what we just talked
Mm,
about. Like I love to break the um like barriers that we have with people because if it's whether if it's our age or it's our job title
yeah.
or it's like whatever, like yeah, like before you are my like my boss or my employer, like we're people. It's like what's up? Or
Yes.
like, you know, before you go and interact with an employee somewhere, like before we are like guest and employee, like we are just people. So like how's your day? You know, and it's
Yes.
fun to have like those little interlude moments where it's like
Liftoff, bro.
it's fun to break that normal barrier because usually it's
Yes.
funny because like when you break it first, when you're the first one to like initiate it, they almost get like caught off guard in like whatever kind of manner it is, and it's almost kind of lightens their day, and it's again it's very fulfilling.
So
It's
I got a story for you.
very,
I get that on the Liftoff agent side because I'm like the CEO
yeah.
and I meet everyone once a month. And I'm reading this book. It's called Scaling Up. It's a great book that both y'all could read, and
Hmm.
anyone who's watching. And Scaling Up is a book that was out in 2014, and it's just on Audible. So I've been listening to it, and I meet each one once a month, and that's what they said. They said, "I really appreciate the fact that you are treating me like an equal, like we're just peoples, like you would say."
It's important.
It's very important,
I
you
think it's
know.
respectful above anything,
Oh my God, for
and
sure.
that's like,
Yeah.
I mean, that comes back to you tenfold.
Yeah, and well, and we're seeing it too in the you know the social and economical landscape of politics and what have you. And we're not going to get into a segment here of politics. It's just that like we're like, okay, enough's enough. Like you're not going to just spend our money and just be like whatever. And it's like no, like we're equals. You know what I'm saying? And
No, I definitely agree.
I get there's a hierarchy, and I get that there you know there's followers and there's leaders and there's places, and I get the the ideologies of the construct. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, when people think that they're like, oh, like, oh, I'm a fucking celebrity, or I'm a fucking multimillionaire, or I got this fucking Bentley or whatever, it's like, so
I agree.
cool.
It's like some form of like, it's like when people find success and then they start. I think for me in my life, like where I kind of saw that most recently is like finding like a friend like Malik, where it was kind of. It was nice to have someone in the entrepreneurial mindset and
Mm,
have somebody that was able to not only just like be my friend, but also just be almost in a way like of a mentor that could help me
yeah.
understand things a little bit differently, where it's like I can actually talk to this person and understand like, hey, like why is it that you do that? Like I'm not saying you're doing it
Mm,
wrong, but I'm just curious, like I'm just literally picking it apart because I can't. And like
yeah.
it's different when people get online and it's like, they're standing right on their Lambo and talking about like, oh, like, if you want to get rich, start a business. Okay, what does that mean? Like, yeah, sure, obviously, but like what does that mean?
Start drop shipping today. If you want to go ahead and get $1 million, you can go ahead and do it with this. Yeah, yeah. Like,
So it's like, okay, and it's like
still
it's
in the
almost
whole
like
process and
as
shit.
like unmotivating as it is like
Mm-hmm.
desensitizing even.
Yeah, yeah.
So
No,
it's
I'm right there with you. And I think the thing is too that everyone needs to remember, and there's one thing that you take from this podcast is that we need each other. Right? We need each
mhm,
other for contrast. We need each other for support. We need each other because we give each other purpose. You know what
mhm,
I'm saying? Like if you didn't believe in me and Malik didn't believe in me and I didn't do something of value, there's no reason why either of you would drive to my personal house and be in my personal office and be on this podcast if I had not something to be able to give. And I had a guest on the show and he's talked about gifts. And the gifts that we have are the things that we could share with others. Like if Malik is going to speak into you and you're going to speak into him and he's going to mentor you and then
I
you're going
like
to
that.
ask him questions and then, you go back and forth. You guys have a symbiotic relationship where both ends of the spectrum is balanced out because you guys both are like intriguing and inspiring and helping and asking. And then it's a relationship where the whatever, deep on a cellular level, like it gets to then multiply because now you're bringing in Seth and you're bringing in this person and it's growing. You know what I'm saying? And so the Scaling Up book talks about an organism like a corporation being like a
Right.
living organism. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do.
And so that's why I think anyone who's listening and viewing out there, like, don't forget that, like, you even if it's your mom or dad, or you're not even putting yourself out there, like your siblings, like we all need each other because we give each other something. And the one thing that I put on yesterday on my you have like on the Instagram, the back end of the bubble, is like it's what did I say? It's the perception or something like I forgot what I said. I don't know if it's still there, but the quote was something hella profound, and I think it's probably gone now because it only lasts like 24 hours. Dang it, it's gone. But like I think I said something like I am the perception that you need to grow.
Mm.
Right? Like
No,
you
I
are the
like that.
perception that maybe Malik needs for you to grow, or vice versa, as we are the perception that maybe someone else who's watching this episode can then grow.
Right. No,
You
I
know?
agree, and I mean, like like somebody's watching at all times.
Always.
So it's like even like again going back to the whole like silent lovers thing, like somebody just wants to grow because they're inspired by what you do, or you just living life is inspiring for someone else, and that I think is like justification enough to just continue doing what you're doing and continue building in whatever aspect that you want to build in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
100%. I love that. I love that. All right, getting off the philosophical deep ass conversations here. I want to get in the car segment, bro.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So why Supra?
Why Supra? I love the Supra. I wanted a Supra for so long.
Really?
I had
Why new instead of the older one?
I think the older one is I don't know. I don't know too much about the platform. Like I know it's like a 2JZ and I know like,
Yeah.
I know like the cookie cutter knowledge,
Yeah.
but I don't know if what happens to it. Like I am someone who's like very mechanically inclined, so I like to do my own work on my car just because it's like
Me too, bro.
it's just like a peace of mind kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know too much about the platform. Not to say that I couldn't learn, but also I feel like they're so old that finding a good example
That's true. That's
is
true.
almost as expensive as buying a new car.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like
Or
a new
more.
car, or more, exactly. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, a new car comes with a warranty,
Yeah, that's true.
and that's very powerful in itself. And I think,
Well, you bought a BMW too, no? There's all that concept of like, oh, is it Supra? Is it Toyota? Is it BMW? But I guess like there was like someone online that opened it up and it was like, see, BMW, see, BMW. Like if you look into the parts.
oh yeah, no, there's BMW parts all over. Like I had an issue with my trunk, and Toyota couldn't find me the part code, and I was like, no, this is literally the part. Like I found it for, like I did the work for them. They
Oh
like,
shit.
and they couldn't find it. I don't even know what that means. Like, what do you mean you can't find it? So like, it's
Yeah.
just a trunk latch. So I went to BMW, told them the same code, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we got you.
What?
So and it was
Damn.
like one of those, like obviously like it was like a language like a language barrier there. Like, where
Interesting.
it's just lost in translation. So
Okay. So how long have you had it for?
I had mine super for about 8 months, I think it's been, or what month are we in? Or actually, it's almost been about a year.
Almost a year.
Almost a
Okay.
year, yeah.
Okay.
So I had the Predator, or the little baby version of it, the GR86.
Okay. That's what's up.
And then that's what kind of made me. I always wanted a Supra, but I also wanted the 86 as well.
Okay.
And I think the Supra now is, at least for me, I think it's a car. Like everyone always like talks about, like especially when I talk to like older people about it or people that are not into cars. Oh, it's impractical. Like they always list the whole 9 yards about
Yeah.
there's no back seats. There's no. Yeah, I know that's the point.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like I like that.
Yeah.
But also like you get people that you get to like, throwing it into another perspective, you get the people that you get to impress, and kind of like, even like if it's like the kids or just like people just coming up to you at the gas station, just being like, hey man, I like your car. And it's like, it's one of those feelings that's just like, I don't even know how to explain it.
It's priceless, bro.
Yeah,
It is, dude. Like I think if you haven't like, if you're not into cars, okay, I get it. If you haven't experienced something like that, like go on Turo, go rent like whatever, even a C8 Corvette. You know what I'm saying? Or a Supra, and go out there and do that. And it's almost like a sense of like, you have like a sense of responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Like when you have something that's at a higher level caliber and a nicer car, whether it's sports, super, or I mean, you can go hyper. It's either like sharing it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I
People want to
agree.
hear it, so rev it up. You know what I'm saying? Or open it up for them. Let someone sit in your car like a young kid or something like that. Go ahead and like rev it or whatever else. But yeah, there's something about it. Also, you also got to be careful too, because if you don't know, you don't know. Got to check out Malik's episode. I gave the editor all the clips yesterday of him getting pulled over after we're talking about pops and bangs. And I'm like, you even get a ticket for that? And he got a fucking ticket that day. Like,
literally that night.
Literally that night. We're like, I don't think you can. And damn,
Yeah,
bro.
no, we definitely tested that.
And I swear to you, like I invited him the first show. You guys were like, oh, it's too far. And then I'm like, oh, well, this is the next location. And the next thing you know, he's like, oh, I'm rolling up. And the next thing you know, I'm like, fuck.
No, yeah, we weren't supposed to go, which I think it adds to the story a little bit more, because it's like we were initially we're not gonna go. We weren't supposed to go. Last second we decided to go, and it's like, and that's how the cookie crumbled.
Yeah, 100%. But it is what it is. Any mods?
Nothing crazy. It just has a intake and a catback exhaust.
Okay.
So, pretty much stock for now. I think
What's the plans?
oh man, I feel like that's like my favorite part of like the whole like car environment.
Dude.
Car, like I love
100%.
being able to like make it my own to a
Yeah.
point where it's like, oh, like you can just see it. And it's like, yeah, that's Rob. Like he's
Yes.
coming down. Ultimately, I feel like a broken record, because I say this so many times. Like I like a lot of JDM stuff, which is kind of funny because even though we are like twins in the cars that we have, we have different takes on like how, like I'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so nice, and he'd be like, dude, that thing is disgusting. And I think it's so funny. But I think honestly, before I begin that, I really want to get a manual Supra. Like everyone always like dogs on me because it's like, oh, it's slower, it's this and that, but like someone's always gonna be faster.
Of course.
At the end of the day, like someone just has a bigger pocket. And
you gonna swap?
I can't swap, and the reason why I can't swap is because I don't think, at least at the time when I looked at it, there's not really conversion kits for it. And a manual transmission Supra, if you look at it, is like definitely like an afterthought on Toyota's part.
Yeah.
So like I would have to take out the whole center console, get a whole new center console. Like there's a lot of stuff that I would have to, and it's also like, keep in mind it's BMW.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely not easy to like, it's not like
getting into SEMA builds and shit now.
No, exactly. So at that point I would just.
So you getting the older one for the manual then?
They have manual transmissions in the new ones.
Oh, they do.
And I haven't really looked at the price now, but at least more or less like a year ago, they were definitely like taxing on them like bad. Like it was like a 7K markup just
What
because.
year did the manual come out?
2023, I want to say
Okay,
2023,
okay.
2024. I
So
think
fairly newer. Okay.
it's fairly newer and they're hard to come by. So like the dealer can definitely just do a market adjustment and
Yeah, yeah.
put another 5, 7K on there. And at that point, it's just really not worth. Uh, it just starts to add a little bit. That 10K jump isn't really worth it for a manual transmission in my
Yeah.
opinion. You can go like another platform.
Yeah.
But obviously I'm waiting for it to come down and when it makes sense to be reasonable.
Would
Obviously,
you trade in or add to?
oh, I would definitely trade.
Trade. Okay.
I think no sense in having two Supras.
I mean, I don't know. All right.
I guess. I don't know. Not to say it's not fun in an auto. I mean, it definitely is fun.
Yeah.
I think it's
Is
just
it pretty responsive though? Like is there different modes and then like you go in manual mode? Is it like
honestly,
pretty responsive?
it's definitely really responsive.
Okay, you don't get like a lot.
There's nothing I can complain about it.
Okay.
Other than the fact that I think once you come from a manual car, like it's hard to go back.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I like the GTR. It's like it's auto, but it's the dual clutch, so it runs like a manual. But of course, obviously, you can't bank the gears. Like there's no throwing gears.
It's just like something fulfilling about like launching it.
I feel like if you're gonna slide it too, like that's
it's
more of a
way
leaf
easier
style.
to slide. Yeah, it's way easier, and that's what I was trying to explain to him. Just because it's I think it's way easier to slide a manual car versus like an auto. I feel like you just have to do a lot of work. You have to have a lot of momentum or a lot of I don't know. Maybe I just am inexperienced, and this is just like
Yeah. Well,
my ignorance
you
talking.
slide yours too?
I'd love to. It's
Oh,
fun.
you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I think ultimately, kind of how he said it last time. I mean, sliding the car is I think it's way more interactive, and it's just more.
Yeah.
I think the straight line speed is fun until you build your car to a point where all of a sudden you start living at the shop. Your car starts throwing trans codes, start throwing engine codes, start throwing, whatever, you this, that. And it's just, like I said, and at the end of the day, if you want to be fast, someone has a bigger pocket than you. So
Yeah. I got all my cars are all wheel, so I can't even relate. It's straight. It's just his hooks. But I do see myself eventually getting something I could slide around.
a rear wheel drive car is so fun.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be hard for me to go away from it.
Yeah.
Like I especially like maybe all wheel, but like I think I often talk about how I want like an older gen like STI like a rally car. Like I would love to like ramp things and just
that'd be dope.
Yeah, put a whole roll cage, take the interior out, like a proper rally car.
That'd be
like something I don't care about the paint, which would be so nice.
That'd be sick. Yeah, I could see. I know the Z's are great for like sliding around and drift cars and whatnot.
exactly.
So the Z's are cool. And then I don't even know if anyone here even knows. Do you know what an SRT4 is?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I say that's old school. That's like 90. That's like 2005 and shit. But like, I want one of those. Even though it's
a little Dodge Neon, right?
Yeah, 275 horsepower, like little 4-cylinder turbo, like from the factory. Like it's cool. You can get those for like $6-7 grand. But you can't. You can just e-brake slide. You can't actually like, front wheel drive car. So what are you gonna do?
Oh, that is true, huh?
Yeah, it's front wheel drive.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like again, like going back to the whole rear wheel drive factor is like that's just to me it's just fun.
Yeah,
that little bit of sense of like dangerousness, I love.
Yeah, the GTR is dangerous, bro. I blew the front drive shaft when I first got it at second launch. So I want to say like 2 months in, and so I just pulled it out and I was like still driving it, but it was roll drive. No bueno.
Yeah,
no bueno.
It's a whole different beast.
Yeah.
Whole different beast. And I think one question I wanted to ask you, car related, is because we often have this debate about how supercars and whatnot. I actually don't have any really like I don't want to say I don't have any interest in owning a supercar, but like before I even get to that point, like I want to have like 5 different builds. That is like I'd rather just wake up and just be like, okay, do I want to take like my ZR1 out or do I want to take like my M2 out today? Like, like that to me would be more fun and interactive than having a supercar.
Yeah.
Because again, supercar is fun until I think something happens to it and it just seems like a liability and where it's like, okay, now I might just live at the dealership for a few months and that it just sounds like unappealing to me.
Yeah, this first month in, $7,000. Yeah, I mean,
like an oil change is like $7,000, I think.
Yeah, oil changes are on the GTR not as bad as probably like a Lambo, something like that. But then like I think it's more intimidating until then you get it, and then once you get it, like then you start to get like normalized to it, and then you go through it, and it is what it is. And like so, majority of the work on the car I've done on my own, as far as like the GTR, and then I had a guy come over and like we had it like jacked on all fours and doing the oil change and like doing transmission flush and all the things. And so and I actually brought it over to like just a freaking place down the street. Like it was just over here at All-Star Superstar Car Wash. Just brought it over there. I bought the oil, bought everything that I wanted for it, and then I had him do it. It was like $100 or something like that. It was cheap. It was
Right.
maybe less. It was $59.99 or something like that. So, you know, I don't know, but it also like who works on it, it's a little bit more sketch, but honestly, I just want to lift. I want to do everything on my own.
That's literally what I want. I've always had like a few bad experiences where like even something as like simple as like people like shops have like torqued my lug bolts so tight that they're just stripped.
That's the
And
worst.
like I didn't realize it until it came time to like rotate tires or change wheels or whatever, and it's like, oh, hold on, and I'm like, oh no, and then I check the other one, and it just reassures it, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's like one of those like, yeah, this simple job, this 2 minute job really just went to 2 hours or even 2 days.
Oh no, I was gonna do the heartbeat. It's like, oh fuck, got the wrong button. But that's where I feel like people out there, if this is you and you do anything in the automotive world, it's like, come on, be passionate about what you do because we love our cars.
That's true, and I think it's hard to find reputable people and having like a good
Oh
safety
yeah.
net of people that like even if I take my car to a dealership, we're just like it's usually reputable. Like I always see, I have a tracker on my car
Mm-hmm.
that came with it, and it's every time I take it there, and if I'm not there, like I always see it moving. I'm like, why are you guys joyriding? Like I'm not mad that you guys are joyriding. It's just a principle. Like you could have asked. Like I would be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If something happens to it, it's obviously on their insurance. But at the end of the day, like it's just one of those things. It's just like I think people see like obviously Toyota doesn't see too many Supras, I imagine. So like when
Yeah.
they see it, it's like okay, that's all.
You think that's bad, bro? So first moved here to Arizona, 2020. I had the baby GTR. I had the 2016 Q50 Infinity, and so twin turbo 3.0, and I put it on Toro, and I was renting it out, and we had these guys come from Oakland, and they came and they took it, and you kind of hear them getting on it down the street, and they bring the car back, and then the side of the bumper because it's really low, and it was like the S model or whatever it was, and it had like a big old hole in the side of the bumper, dude. And I was like, oh, and I had to freaking claim Toro, I had to buy a bumper, get it all fixed. But like, yeah, when someone joyrides your car, dude, like that, like that's why I was gonna put the GTR. I was thinking on Toro to see what's up, but it's just like it's too much of a liability, and like at the power that it has, unless you could like detune it and then give them the car at like 450,
I think you
500.
can. I'm sure there's a
Yeah,
way.
but still, I don't want to do that.
But yeah, no, like even the fact that you need to go through that hurdle to get to where you want to get to is like one of those things that's like
So you do your own work on your car?
for the most part with everything that I can. I don't have a lift, but it'd be
Yeah.
cool. Like there's just stuff where like it really for the most part I try to do it unless it's something that's bigger than I can handle.
Yeah.
And in which case, sometimes it's just I just can't handle it. I'm gonna just keep it real.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
I'm down to learn and I'm willing to learn. So
Yeah, why not? What's your dream? What's the dream car collection?
I think in there for
1
sure.
through 5.
Oh my god. I think a manual Supra for sure makes it in there.
All right,
Um,
number 1.
yeah, that's definitely number one. I think we're gonna have to go with a GT4 RS
Okay, GT4
because
RS.
everybody likes the GT3, and I think it's just too basic.
Okay.
I like to be a little different.
Got the Porsche in there.
Yep.
All right.
And I think the GT4 is a little more interactive than the GT3.
Okay.
At least from I've never driven both, but I think
Okay.
from what I've learned, definitely a C6 ZR1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little different, but
All right.
that's like I don't know, like that's as fast as it gets, damn
That's
near
sick.
for like the money.
Oh yeah.
And plus, like it's like one of those cars again. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
So that's 3. We already talked about the older gen. I don't know what year it is, but it's like the Bug Eye STI, where it's
STI? Okay.
just a great rally car. And what is that? 4 right there or 3?
4.
Last one, man. I'm gonna stick by my claim and not put a supercar in there, but we're gonna go with I think one car that's really been growing on me right now is the new G87 M2s.
M2 G7. Okay.
I feel like that, especially this new gen, it's like the perfect blend between the
That's
M2 to the M3. Maybe like that little,
Mm-hmm.
it bridges that gap a little more, and I think it looks better than the M3. So
That's what's up. That's
Mhm.
cool. No, I like that. What's your dream car collection? If you like cars, give us that feedback down below. What's your 5-car dream car garage? No, I like that. And I like that you guys like cars because like that's kind of like the vibe to like vibe out with people that are like entrepreneur minded, like friends, family minded, car minded, and so it's cool that you guys like that. And we actually have before you guys leave, I'll let you know about a show coming up on Sunday. So if you guys want to cruise to a show, it's off Alamo School Road on Sunday evening. So if you guys are around, it's like 5 to like 8 or something like that. So
I think it's the one that we might go to, right?
it might be the
I
same.
think it's like what? Yeah, Cars and Christ.
Yeah,
Is
I
that what
think
it is? Yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah.
I think
I think we
so.
were planning on hitting that just because. Yeah, no, I mean, going back to what you were saying, I think in the car world, there's definitely like your fair share of like good and interesting people, uh, and I think it's just fun to see what everybody does.
Yeah.
Just because when people are like, again, people when you meet the genuine people in the car world, it's always fun to see
Mm-hmm.
what you can learn and what you can put in your blender, whether if it's what they do for work or like
Yeah.
what they do
I like
in
that.
their day to day lifestyle, or even it's something as simple as what they have done to their car, and then they explain it like, yeah, so I had to go through this and this, and especially if it's your own car, it's a little bit more beneficial. But
Mm-hmm.
then you also have like the people that are just like, I don't know, people that are just in the car or into cars for the wrong reasons, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it's just it's never that deep.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think too, anyone who's viewing and listening out there, like things are just things, they come and go, and sometimes you'll put things at such a high level and they think that they're going to be a different person or be a different level because they have something like that, but it's like not that big of a deal. And I had some guy who was just like, I took some pictures of your car. Can I send them to you? I'm like, of course, dude. Like, totally fine.
Mm.
He sends it to me, and of course, they're like, blurry ass pictures and like, nothing like to write home with. So I couldn't like post them and tag him. I would have, but I was just like, okay, brand equity, right? Like, like,
No, I get
but
it.
thank you, I appreciate you. And then like, hey, if I could do this, you could do it. And I always, for me personally, like to be genuine to whoever I talk to, and just make it so it's like not as big of a deal as maybe people make it out to be. But it's always cool to like lighten someone's day when they light up.
No, I definitely agree, and especially like yourself, if you have that ability to do that, like
Hmm.
obviously we have cool cars, but like I am a cool person outside my car.
Yeah,
So it's like,
let's go, bro.
like
Come on.
talking to like my friends that are not like car people, it's cool because to them it's like it's fine. I still, blend well with them. I still
Yeah,
am able to build upon ideas or just whatever, partake in a little more than just, my car gets brought up with y'all, but like with anyone else, like it's just never there. So it's like it's cool.
yeah, yeah. That's the same thing too. Like some people, it's like it has no relevance, like
No,
no
they
like
literally couldn't care
they
less.
don't care. Like okay, cool,
Like I
like
could have Ubered there.
yeah,
It's like,
exactly. Well,
yeah.
that's becoming more of a thing too. People are less and less cared about driving anymore, parking, dealing with the crap. There's just like a Uber, Lyft, no big deal. Keep it simple.
But some people really can't drive. Like I was just talking about how like I think driving is like a literal logical based reasoning of like
Yeah.
order of operations. Some people like I could tell just by the way they drive, like they just can't. Like I know other aspects of their life also suffers because of like what they do on the road. Like it has to.
It has to, bro. Everything's correlated. I think I don't.
No, definitely.
I think the way you do one thing is very correlated to what you do with everything. If you're intentional
Yeah.
with your driving and you ease and flow through it, could be the same thing for your company. Could be the same thing with health. Could be the same thing with eating. And other people are just like sometimes, hey, I love you, honey, and sometimes she is just like, get the fuck out the way, or she's just like hella like kind of like the way she drives, kind of sporadic, like just calm down, relax, and then she gets all mad at me with my driving. I'm just like, honey, just relax. Like you got your pillow, I put your heated seats on. What are you doing here? Like
That's funny.
just chill. Like, and she thinks that like I'm not sporadic driver here. Like I'm just being aggressive because you have to be in Arizona compared to California. Arizona driving
No,
is
you have to
crazy.
assert the dominance, and even sometimes when I see someone like just flying down the road, I'm like, you know what? I can respect it. They probably got shit to do.
Yeah,
Like they woke up, I got shit to do today. You know
I
what?
let that shit happen, bro.
And that's better than being behind someone that's just like obviously on their phone or obviously like
Yeah,
just like bullshitting behind the wheel, and it's like okay,
dude, I can't. That's why, like, with the truck and the GTR, like, it's like I always just take the initiative. And
yeah.
then my wife with her Honda Santa Fe, little hybrid, it's like I gotta like go slow behind the cars. I gotta think about it. And the wife's like, "What are you driving so fast for? Wasting my gas." I'm like, "Well,
You
I
gotta
pay
like
for
build
it."
the momentum up.
Yeah, you have to build the momentum up, bro. I'm like, and then the freaking front wheel drive, so it's like spinning out the front. I'm like, all right, like I gotta slow
Yeah.
down.
Now you just look weird.
Look weird,
doing
bro.
like aggressive stuff in like a normal car. It's like, oh man, you're just like one of those guys.
Yeah, I gotta like flip the switch off. All right, slow switch. All right, we're gonna take my time here and not go too fast. But no, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see your growth, bro.
I
You know what I
appreciate
think
that.
would be
Thank you.
cool? Got you, man. I think it'd be cool to like get you back on after like a year or
We should
so.
do this like yearly. You know how like oh my gosh, I think it's like Time or I don't know what who publishes the videos, but there's like they do it with like music artists.
Really?
Like I know like music artists like they'll come through like and every year just to see what they're who they were then, who they are now, what they accomplished up till then, and then what they want to accomplish moving forward.
Dude, if y'all want to see him back on in a year,
So like
give me your feedback down below. The studio's going to change. The mindset's going to change. Maybe some additional tattoos. You got a bunch of tattoos, bro. I like.
Everyone always comments on the tattoos. I feel like when they comment it, I'm this like tattoo guru for people like, oh yeah, like I want to get this, this, and that, and I'm like, well, what do I have to do with that? Like I get, I get, I have tattoos, but like my opinion shouldn't matter to you. But yeah, like yeah, do it for sure. So
hey, you know, I mean, they're inspired, bro.
And they are, and it goes back to the whole silent lover thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm curious. Super this off the wall question. The pink on your fingers. Does that ever come off?
It does come off. It's
Do you take it off?
Hopefully the camera can see it.
Let's go a little closer for the camera here, so they can actually.
I got it from. It's actually my most meaningful ring, which is like it's funny because this is like maybe like 10 cents from Walmart.
It's good though. It's good. So
one of my friends gave it to me, and I thought it was so weird. I was like, this thing is the silliest thing I've ever like. What even is? It's 2 eyeballs. I don't know if you could hear that.
Yeah, you can.
So then it's just like 2 little eyeballs, and it's cool. Here, I'll let you try it on.
Oh damn! It's like, bro, you're gonna give me the exclusive here, bro.
It's like one of those things that's like, yeah. I mean,
you guys get them pushed in and shit. You in a fight, bro?
It's definitely gone through life for sure. Again, it's a little 10 cents piece of plastic, but
let's go.
It's a great conversation starter. Like it's funny, and I laughed right away because like everybody talks about it. Everybody loves to see it, ask questions about it, and it's perfect. Again, I love to talk to like new people and random people, so it's like it's a great conversation starter. Like
you know what sticks out for me? This. And the hair.
You know what? We already did talk about the hair.
We did. We talked about the hair when we talked last time, just about doing work together. But I think that something to take in consideration for everyone out there, though, is like, what is your signature? You know what I'm saying? Like when you think about like, Rob, what's your signature? Like your ring, right? The hair, right? Tattoos.
What would you say my signature is from someone that's like third person? The camera. There you go.
Malik says the camera. He's back over there just chilling. There he is. He's over there. He's back there. He's back there. The camera.
But you know what? The camera is a fair point, because I feel like a lot of people just know me for my camera, or like
you didn't bring it in. That was one thing that I was like, oh, he's on the camera. He's like chilling out.
Bringing it in. I thought about it, but I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna use it.
Well, we got you.
Yeah.
I got a little clip. Malik got your little clip. We're good.
And it's funny because like I don't travel anywhere without my camera. Like this is like honestly embarrassing to say, but like
it's a part of you.
It doesn't feel right if I leave the house without my camera in my trunk. I don't know what it is. It's like one of those like
it's an extension, bro.
Yeah, and then obviously hopefully nothing happens to it because I
knock on some wood.
Yeah, no, exactly. When that day comes, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, wow.
You're good. Do you have insurance?
I do not.
Insurance, bro.
Yeah, I think I might have to.
Especially if it's over like $1,500, like get insurance just that way you have it just in case.
I definitely looked into it, but so far I've been really good with it. Like I literally like when I carry with me, I'll like either if I'm not holding it, like I have someone who I trust.
Like it's baby.
Yeah, no, it's honestly pretty embarrassing.
I love that, dude.
But it's cool though. Again, like it's that trademark little stipulation in my life that everybody bonds with.
The next year, you're gonna have to have it right there next to you. I have to put it on the table right next to you.
Next year, I plan on like kind of. I feel like I'm very genuine.
Yeah.
I want to be a little like ignorant and just put some like crazy build on the camera and just set it right here. So,
yeah.
And I'm almost like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. What?
Because I'm not like that. Which I think is why it's funny, but some people really do that and they're like, oh, I'm so cool.
Or is he?
Yeah, exactly.